All right, it appears that we are live. What's up, everybody? This is Mr. Drew here to welcome you to another episode of the Andrew Glowczewski Experience. This is episode 91. Oh my God, we less than 10 away from 100. This is insanity, and I'm so excited. You guys have heard me talk about it for the last couple of episodes. So I don't need to really talk too much about it, but I'm going to say everything about it because that's what I do here. I am going to be working on my first Patreon character commission. I started my Patreon the same time I built my website, the same time I started this Twitch channel. Um, you know, I uh, I have no idea what I'm doing. And it's super scary, super exciting. I bet it all on myself. It's all or nothing. And yeah, it is what it is, man. I could fail at this. I told myself when I quit my job last December that this could fail. Let me adjust the camera. Let me fix this. At least let me start to prepare myself. That this plan could fail, and that if anything, I may end up needing to get one more job, just to kind of get some things straight and to I don't know, just get my life set up so that way I can I could actually pursue my dream and do what it was that I want to do, which is create my own animations. Um, and I know maybe some people may be thinking like, hey, why don't you just create your own animations and hold down a job? And it's just animation is a lot of work. I remember when I was in college, I was doing full-time classes and I was holding down three jobs, I believe, like two part-time jobs, one full-time job, I believe, something like that. Um, and it took me, during those times, I was in my early 20s. I was probably 20 years old, 21 years old, and it was it was 9 months to produce a 90-second demo reel. And you can find that demo reel on my YouTube channel, Mr. Drew on YouTube. It'll be way back there because it was probably uploaded in like 2011 or something like that. And it's going to look like it was uploaded by a student in 2011. But still, it is what it is, man. So, it I'm just saying that to say this is that I I bet it all on myself. I'm doing it. I'm tired of thinking about it. And I built the website. I started the Patreon. I started the Twitch channel. I'm live streaming. This is episode 91. I'm uploading everything everywhere. I'm uploading, marketing myself every single day. Um, it's it's a lot. It's a lot of work. And I'm lucky enough to have like some people who believe in me. So yeah, let me drink some water. So super excited about this first character commission. Hopefully it's the first of many. In a perfect world, I'll be doing this for the rest of my life. Nothing brought me more joy than doing character commissions when doing them live for people when I'm in Artist Alley at conventions and things like that. People throwing like characters I never even heard of, and it's like, yo, how do you spell that? And then you find out who this character is, and you're like, oh shit, I just agreed to draw that. Okay, like, and then it is what it is. Fortunately, the character I have to work on today is someone I'm familiar with, and it's someone who, because I'm familiar with him, I can have a little bit of fun with it. Um, so that's what we're going to be here to do. And for the first time, this is not my sketchbook. I have a just piece of illustration paper. I pulled out a whole lot of old art supplies that I had, including some papers, and I've been talking about my watercolors lately and how I had just bought like a watercolor set and never used them. They were, I guess, these Dr. Martens. I don't know how good of a brand it is because, again, I never got to use them. But I was like heavy into commissions years ago, and I had bought these because I was only used to using dollar store paints, which, funny enough, I actually still have a whole gang of dollar store watercolor paints that I bought back in the day because when I was just getting started, I couldn't afford a thing, and to the point where I was like shopping, buying food from the dollar store, and when you walk around the dollar store, you kind of it's a quick walk. You can find things. So I found art supplies, and I found these watercolors, and I think I remember them from like elementary school or something like that. And I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna use them. And I started out with these, and I don't know if I upgraded these or if I just went to a different dollar store and found those. And I was like, holy shit, more colors. You can see I never even got to opening these bigger ones. This one got used, or was just starting to get used at least. But yeah, that's how I was living back in the day. And then I told myself after doing that for like a year or two, like, let me step my game up and buy some good material. So I got I I I I did that, and that's what I was hoping that those Dr. Martens would be. And I think that's kind of when uh, I actually don't even really remember what stopped it. I do remember shit hitting the fan at one point in my life, back in like 2017. I started my computer crashed in 2013, so I went completely traditional, and then that's when I started going to artist alleys and I was drawing things, and I taught myself how to ink, how to watercolor, how to do all this shit. Besides pencils, because pencils was the only thing I was good at. And yeah, man, that's ooh, I wonder if this is gonna work or not. That's not straight. I wonder if I'm gonna need to drop a sheet of paper behind this for like a buffer or something. There we go. So we're not just drawing on direct cardboard. It feels a little flimsy. Either way. So yeah, it was 4 years of, and every year, 1 year I taught myself how to ink, 1 year I taught myself how to shade, 1 year I taught myself how to watercolor paint. And then, while I was doing all that, I was even going to like artist alleys and conventions and selling artwork and doing things like that uh, then and there. And yeah, that was the story. And then shit hit the fan again in 2017. Um, and yeah, just I still feel like I'm still spiraling from that point. You know when characters in a movie or something, they have to like they find themselves at a point where they have to like hit the ground running, so to speak, or like when it's like you're always told when you're 18 you're an adult, so when you're 18 you're out on the streets and you gotta figure it out, kid. Like I had a moment like that. Now I had been lived that life, but I'd worked a job for like 5 years, and it was a comfortable job, and then some illegal stuff happened. Not me, I didn't do it, but some illegal shit happened. I just wasn't down with, and because I wasn't down with it, I got fired. And not gonna talk about the company, not gonna talk about it at all, of course, but kind of that's what happened in 2017 and kind of sent me reeling. And I feel like I've been reeling ever since then. Fortunately, I was able to grab a job after that, and then that was just like a safety net capture me job. It was still in design and things like that, but the I mean that company has since closed down, and I'm not surprised by that. Not to sound mean or anything. uh, it is what it is. Hell yeah. There we go. So yeah, I was able to find a job, and I ended up quitting that job just because, you know, not all companies are perfect, or you're not going to be a fit for every company that you apply for. Even if you could do the work, it's like, this isn't gonna work out for me. And then on top of that, uh, fortunately, I put in my 2 weeks there, worked there, and then or left there. And as I was leaving, a company that an ex-girlfriend of mine was trying to hook me up with, that didn't hire me the first one or two times. I don't know why I'm even getting into my whole occupation history. But either way, like, I landed another job, and the entire time I was working that job, um, it was cool. It wasn't perfect, and I, you know, because I was reeling and I was always just trying to uh, find some stability. Let me see. Oh, you know what? That's what I gotta do. Hell yeah. There we go. Um, but yeah, the more I worked there, it started like a dream come true. It started like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory type of thing, where I was like, holy shit, I might actually find happiness here. I might actually be able to, you know, do everything here. And then, what do you know? Uh, nope. It just didn't work out that way either. Um, and the entire time, after I graduated college in 2010, it just became about paying off my student loan debt and everything like that. So money has always been an issue in my life. Something my father always told me, he goes, you don't have a money problem, you have an income problem. And which, I guess he's not wrong there. Am I on camera? Yeah. I know I'm drawing with this light pencil. You can't even really see it all too much. I'm just gonna keep on blabbing. Um, so I was always like broke, even though I had these jobs. Like, it took forever to pay off my student loan debts, and that was a whole journey on its own. Of, you know, like, I made it a priority to pay off that stuff, and a lot of things took the back seat to that, including, fun, friendships, video games. Um, a lot of shit. You know what? Let me hit play. I have Ethan Becker on YouTube playing in the background before I started this, so I kind of just did that. I pause these things whenever I start something, just so I can get the intro going. But it looks like I'm gonna be talking for a while. Um, Maybe I should like throw on a podcast or something, or just like some play some music or something, just something low in the background, so that way I can kind of keep my thoughts to myself. Hopefully, I hope that's low. If not, I'll lower it. Oh no, that's not low. Oh, YouTube can't wait to DMC me. DMCA me. So I always gotta keep all that stuff in the background low. Either way. So, money's always been an issue with me. And it just always became about like uh, pay off my debts, and then whatever I can do, I will do, which was never that much. So, not to say it was all bad. Like I've had good times. Just, a lot of things suffered because of that, relationships and things like that, and it is what it is. I'm not going to be the first artist whose social life struggled, and I certainly won't be the last. But the entire time, from 2010, once I graduated, like, I was dumb enough to believe, like, that I'd get a job in the animation industry. I got an animation degree. I'm an animator, Like, I always wanted to learn it. Like, I knew it was something that I needed to learn. Now I got a degree in it, but that just means like, okay, you can get. I thought it at least meant you can get your foot in the door. You can get an opportunity. And the way that I see it is, I never even had that. I had an internship for the storyboarding advertising company when I graduated, and that was one of the 3 jobs that I was working while I was still trying to get my demo reel done and everything like that. And yeah, it was just like a contract for the internship, and when it was over, I guess I busted my ass for that company, and I did everything I needed to do, and the job got done, but I guess it still just wasn't enough. And that would be the last time. That would be the closest I ever got to working in the industry. And it sucks. Now, I like the time that I spent there and the people that I met there and the things that I learned there. You put on your resume. you put your resume, you put all that shit in your resume, and you think like, oh, people will care about this, right? And it's like, nope. No one cares. Well, at least that's what it seems like, because that's just the way the cookie crumbled for me, at least, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. And yeah, that would be the last time I ever worked in the industry that I wanted to work in. And it's like, you sit there and you think, okay, I'll just keep applying. I'll keep getting better. I'll keep applying. And I'll keep trying to get my foot in through the door. I'll keep trying to, you just keep trying. That's it. That's all you could do. You can't give up. You can't stop. You can't quit. um, especially on your dreams, man. Like, you know, only thing I ever wanted to do was make my own make my own cartoons and animations and things like that. But I'm not dumb enough to think like, oh, I could just do that like on my own. Like it was like, no, you got to make money. You got to live. You know what I mean? Or end up on the streets. And like that's how it was, man. That's how I'm living. So it was always like, okay, so I'm gonna survive first. Step one, survive, and then step two is get better and apply and try to get your foot through the door. And I did that for 10 years. You know, I graduated 2010, computer crash 2013, did all these Artist Alley stuff all the way up till 2017. Uh, all the while, um, all the while, oh shit, you got it. But yeah, 10 years of that, you know, we often talk about, you know, the definition of a crazy person is this person does the same thing over and over and expects it. And it's like, well, what else are you supposed to do? I talk to people, I make connections, you reach out to them. They don't talk to you back. They talk to you when you're in front of them, but you can't always be in front of them. So you gotta talk to them when you're not in front of them. You gotta email them, you gotta call them, you gotta text them, you gotta DM them, you gotta do something. Just be like, hey, what up? And well, obviously be more than that, but still. And yeah, the 10 years of that, and then just just cold calling, cold up applications and things like that to you never know. That's what they say. You never know. The only people who don't get the opportunity is the only people who don't try. That's what they say. Well, I've I fucking tried. I tried. I tried a lot. And to no avail. Again. So I know this got dark, man. It started off like all bright and sunny, and again, I'm gonna circle back around to it. It's just what I'm working on right now just means so much because you know 10, 11 years of reaching out, and I'm still doing it to this day, man. I'm still reaching out, but the more you do it, the more you start to realize like, this shit's not working and it's not gonna work. So you just gotta kind of do whatever you can do. And I'll be honest, man, I could do a lot, but my my strengths lie in illustration. My strengths lie in putting pencil to paper and then everything else after that. does this look? There we go. Where's my blue pencil? I can start to shade some things so that way I don't like lose my spot in the sketch. Oh. So yeah, let's see what these motherfuckers look like. And if you don't know who I'm working on yet, good. Obviously, it'll be revealed eventually. Keep you guessing. And I'll start talking about the commission eventually. Obviously, that's what this is all leading to. I don't, maybe not so obvious, but just FYI, that is where we're going. And yeah, I happy to say a couple years ago, maybe a year ago or so, I was able to pay off my debt. I became debt free. It was a monumental moment for me. You know, couldn't be more happy. You know what I mean? When I didn't have to pay off those things anymore, and then it became like, oh, you mean all I have to do is worry about like the bills and the now, and you know that all those hundreds of dollars a month I can you know keep for myself, like that's you know that's for the savings, that's for my art supplies, that's for you know like super super happy that I did that. I never think about that. I never feel bad. It's like, thank fucking God that shit is gone and out of my life. Um, and yeah, that was. But again, I don't have a money problem. I have a income problem. And you know, after taking all sorts of tests and quiz and trying to start business and get in here and here and there and take these tests and whatever, like, you know, it turns out I also have a marketing or a, not marketing problem, but uh, what's that called? Like making business connections problem. You know, socializing and things like that. And it's like, oh, Jesus, you know, you get good at one thing and something else, you know, falters and slides and you didn't even see it. You didn't even notice it when it was happening. And, you know, I'm guessing it's like, man, is that why, like, you can only fail at applications so many times before you're just like, do I just suck at these? You know? Oh, that's not a bad idea. I like that. There we go. Fuck yeah. I was like wondering how I was gonna do this. Um, so yeah, man, you know when it hits, like, hey, you ain't never gonna be here, man. You're never gonna get invited to the club. You're never gonna, you know, you'll never speak here. You'll never be a part of this. You'll never, uh, you know, like, we're great here. You just be okay over there. uh, with your little drawings and everything, and it's like, okay, I guess so. What else am I left to think? I mean, they all can't be wrong, right? Like, there's gotta be a reason why I can't be doing what I want to do and getting better at what I want to do, and you know, a job is a job, you know. So it's not like it's gonna be all roses and shit, but it's like, if I'm gonna have the stresses of working a job, at least let it be a fucking job that I want, one that I could be proud of, one that I can share, um, and socialize and talk about and be proud of. You know what I mean? And because I think, just like I'm sure my this sad spiel that I'm doing is making people feel away and maybe not feeling so great and being like, yo, this guy just won't shut the fuck up. Get the fuck out of here. Like, that's energy, you know what I mean? And I just want, again, if I'm gonna have a job and the stresses of a job and all that other shit, like, at least let it be a job that I want to fucking do. You know what I mean? So that way when I talk about it, I could, socialize and socially have that energy of, like, you know what? Shit is crazy, but at least that shit is dope. At least, you love it. I did my best to love graphic design, but god damn, man. Uh, and it has its good parts, and you know what? I never got a degree in graphic design. It was never my thing. I didn't even, like, I never even cared to know about it, but I self-taught myself it, because I had to. I had an income problem. You know, no greater motivator than necessity. So when you need some shit, you go out and you get some shit, and yeah, I just got locked into this loop of, like, working for these companies, and I didn't really get into the details about these companies, but obviously, I don't think that's any secret to say, like, okay, clearly you weren't happy there. Like, if I imagine if you had a friend who was as happy at their job as I was at graphic design, you'd probably say, yeah, maybe get the fuck out of there. And yeah, I even remember with the most recent company, man. Like, I just wasn't down with some of the ways things were being handled, and you could only say so much, and you're allowed to speak, and but yeah, people aren't necessarily, like, they don't care. You know what I mean? People, leadership's gonna do what leadership's gonna do, and it's their company, and you gotta let people do whatever they want to do. You know what I mean? Um, even when things weren't going well, and it's like, well, you gotta talk to HR, and then you know you talk to HR, and then you learn how crazy, I don't even know if corrupt is the right word, but, like, twisted business can be. And it's just like, word, this is what you do. It's like, you go to HR, and then you just find out you're snitching on yourself. And it's like, wait, what? You know, business can be crazy, and if that, and like I said, that's any business, and I'm still sitting here like, well, if I'm gonna like suffer at a business, at least let it be a business that I could be like happy with the work that I'm doing there. You know what I'm saying? You know, that fulfillment and all that. You know, I may not even want to hit up HR just because I'd be happy with the work. But when you're not happy with the work, and you know, you got a manager who, or, you know, you just got coworkers in general who just really sorry, I'm checking out my references and everything while I'm doing this. Tight. That's what I'm gonna do. There we go. So yeah, 10 years, man. 10 fucking years, a whole decade of just wishing and not being happy and trying to do something about it, but you need help and no help is coming. You know, you do everything right, you pay off your debt, you get some money, you go out on your own, and you know, I love everyone who I've met at Artist Alley and people who hired me for commissions and things like that. People who believe in me, going there and having people like, holy shit, man, your style, like that's wild, man. Like I love this shit, but I want to see this shit like how you draw it. Like that's the biggest compliment you can give somebody. You know what I mean? That's the biggest compliment you can give an artist. I can't. I really can't put it in words. Like how good shit like that makes me feel. And when you know you get that feeling, it kind of makes everything worth it. Kind of makes everything like isn't that nice? It's like fuck yeah. And so yeah, you do that shit and you find little bits of happiness here and there. Conventions. Still don't have the money to travel out of state, so I'm stuck in all the conventions that you could do in Florida. You know, and yeah, it turns out you know conventions aren't a thing at the moment anymore, and you know that is what that is. What's happening here? Let's do that. Do that. Yeah. Here we go. Look at that. There we go. So that'll go back like that. And then from behind there, kind of do this. Alright, cool. And then, yeah. This one down there like that. Alright. There we go. Yeah. It's gonna be cool. I'll just let that rock like that for now. I don't know if this is actually gonna be seen. Of course it will. I need it to. I'll let that ride. I'll figure it out. That ain't nothing but some hair. Oh, can we see what's happening? Yeah, we can see it. Um, So yeah, man, when you have these, when when you can work and feel good about it, and then you can work and feel like shit about it, you know, that's life. That's life talking to you, man. Like, hey, man, it doesn't have to always. It doesn't have to suck. Like, check this out. And that's when the ideas of, well, if I can't get into the industry, I may just have to do this myself. You know, me being who I am. I have a lot of thoughts. I'm an artist. I think crazy shit. Um, when you start thinking things, you know, especially me, when I start thinking things, they either go one of two places. They either get lost, never to be thought of again, or they never go away. And when you're not getting opportunities, and you're just like, shit, I'm not getting opportunities. That's all I ever needed was just an opportunity, and I can't get it. So when that happens, the thought of just like, do it yourself. Do it yourself. Like you know the shit. You spent 10 years uh, pondering it. You spent 10 years thinking about it. You spent 10 years researching it. You spent 10 years trying to get better at it. You spent 10 years, you know, uh, again, energy. And energy is a strong factor in this world, man. And once you have that energy of like that feeling of dissatisfaction and contempt and hate, those are some strong feelings, man. Look at Star Wars. It's like that dark side shit. Like, you know, say what you will about science fiction and not reality and oh those are just stories and not to mention like those are the bad guys or whatever. But it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Cool. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. There we go. Okay. I mean, no matter what the hell I'm trying to say, because honestly, I don't even know anymore. I'm getting into this picture enough to be like, God damn it, I need to keep up with my sketch now. I need to keep up with all this. Just the idea of like, you're gonna have to do this yourself. And keep in mind, like, the time that I grew up in. I graduated college in 2008. I wanted to do animation since I was in 2nd grade. I mean, I didn't discover that was what I wanted to do until 3rd grade, honestly. So let's just say that. And 3rd grade, it's probably like the late 90s. So considering everything that I grew up with, I saw the rise. I got to watch the Batman movies when they came out in theaters. I got to see Spawn in theaters. I got to see Mortal Kombat in theaters. I got to watch them on VHS. The Street Fighter movie. I watched it an embarrassing amount of times. I was a kid. I loved that shit. Street Fighter video game. Never stopped playing it, man. all the way up until my PS3 crashed. I had the HD remix. Um, the rise of anime, late 90s. Dragon Ball Z, Yu Yu Hakusho, Outlaw Star. You know, some of the references that I'm using to draw this very picture is a movie that I watched in the 90s, one of them old ass joints. One of the ones that I don't, you know, I watched that movie a ton. It's called Wrath of the Ninja. It's an anime. The Japanese version is called the Yododan Tales. I might be able to find it like that. Yotoden or Don. Yododan. Um, Needless to say, Akira, Ghost in the Shell. Toonami. Adult Swim. I was there when Adult Swim first started, and I would sneak out of bed and go to the far end of the room at the far end of the house, so that way I could turn the TV on in there and not have to worry about getting caught not sleeping. And I would watch uh, BET, Comic View, Martin, and Adult Swim. You know, Cowboy Bebop. Come on, man. This is what I grew up with. I was part of the generation that was just like, whoa, did you see that? Did you see that? Like when it was all fresh and new. And moving on to the movies, one of the biggest movies, I love Pulp Fiction. Growing up, I have a hard time trying to find movies that I like better than Pulp Fiction. If I do, it's usually a Tarantino film anyways. Pulp Fiction did so much for me. And Robert Rodriguez is another filmmaker who works closely with Tarantino, so he caught my eye. And, you know, and then when it wasn't until I was buying his DVDs and watching the DVD extras that I fell in love with, like, just Robert Rodriguez. I forget which one. Oh no, I do remember. It was the Once Upon a Time in Mexico DVD extra, where he, on most of his DVD extras, he'll cook a meal that he cooked, often on set during the filming of whatever movies that he's working on. And so he would always turn that into a thing. He would always turn that into, like, he would have a small segment in the DVD extras for those things. And he had a saying on there, on there, and I remember it was like the Once Upon a Time in Mexico, Johnny Depp's character would always go into a place and order the I'm gonna butcher it, the puerco pibil, which is just like pork, rice, and beans, basically, or something like that. And if you remember that movie at all, like, you'll remember at one point someone cooked it, he ate the meal, he goes to the back of the diner, or whatever you want to call it, restaurant, shoots the chef and leaves. I'm sure there was a reason for that, but I forget at this point. And he cooked porco pibil on the as that DVD extra for that movie, because he was like, yeah, while we were filming this movie, we you know, ate a ton of this stuff. Something like that. Or maybe it was tacos. Either way, he would cook something, and then at the end of it, and he goes, and remember, if you can't cook, you can't fuck. And after he said that, and he did that, I don't know how many times, fell in love with the man. I was just like, I like this guy. I like this guy. I don't care what he does. For now on, I love him. And then what did he go on to do? Sin City. Sin City. Remember that movie? That's a badass movie. It's a great movie. You know, fun fact, there was a scene, couple fun facts maybe. There's a scene where Antonio Banderas' character is harassing a prostitute. And that scene, uh, did I say Banderas? My bad. Benicio del Toro was harassing the girl, and he goes, I remember watching, you know, I always watch all the special features. It's harder now because I'm doing everything digital, and, you know, digital things don't always have the extra features, but when they do, I watch them. I watch all the special features. I'm a special features nerd. I look into this shit. I always wanted to do this shit. I wanted to get into the industry, like I said, so that's what I did. I look into this shit. I learned it. I study it. I contemplate it. I fit it in to the thought pattern and the knowledge of everything that needs to be thought of and put together, and you learn the steps in the process and da 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 da, and then it's like, okay, one day I'm gonna do that shit and I'm gonna learn it hands on. No, you won't. But yeah, so Benicio del Toro's harassing this little hooker girl scene, and there's a scene where he goes, "You want to see what I got?" or something like that, and then the lightning strikes behind him, and it's this real eerie looking scene. And I remember he was specifically like, you know, at least this is the way it was told. It was like he wanted to be depicted as a monster, you know, like a universal monster, like you know, Dracula, Wolfman, Frankenstein, whatever. And wouldn't be until later on, years later, that he got the opportunity to play the Wolfman. And there's that Wolfman movie with Benicio del Toro, Anthony Hopkins. Great fucking movie. I bought it. And you know what? A lot of people, you know, may poo-poo it, whatever. Like, that's cool. Everyone's welcome to their opinion. And, you know, maybe it is a little slow. Maybe it is a little sloppy. But, man, that transformation scene, that's crazy. It's up there. It's up there with the other great transformation scenes. This is the highlight of those movies. The sets, the backgrounds in those movies are insane. They're fucking insane. And yeah, just looking at the backgrounds is enough. Is enough to go watch that movie. If you haven't seen it because you're like, oh, I heard it was garbage or whatever, like, fine, whatever, go watch it. Go watch it, expect it to be garbage. But pay attention to the background set. Pay attention to the scenes, to the scenery, to the sets. Some of the greatest woods and scary, eerie settings and beautiful, scary looking, you know, woods. What is that shit, like England or some shit? Woods. Like for sure. Check that out. I would not steer you wrong. Oh wait, what am I trying to do here? Oh, that is what I'm trying to do. Perfect. I got a little wild with that line. I always struggle with pants just because I always drew Goku my entire life growing up, and I never liked the pants. And I should probably try to focus a little bit more on pants. Like, maybe just take a year out of my life and draw nothing but pants. All sorts of pants. Tight pants, baggy pants, all that shit. Like, pants I always get a little froggy with and get a, you know. And then that's when people are like, nah, it's okay, it's style, whatever. You draw you. Anyway. But yeah, Wolfman. But Sin City, you know, Benicio wants to be a Universal monster. Years later, gets to be a Universal monster. Beautiful fucking story. I love that shit. And then Benicio's gone on to do nothing but amazing work after that. Between that Mexican cartel movie stuff that he's doing, his little in Star Wars. Come on, man. Come on, man. Didn't he do those beer commercials? Come on, man. Like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. So Sin City. That scene in the alley, you know, even though the movie's directed by Robert Rodriguez, that scene in the alley was directed by Quentin Tarantino. You know, some people know that. Some people don't. If you didn't, you know, now you do. What do you know? And, what is Sin City? It's a comic book written by one of the greats, celebrated comic book artist, Frank Miller. You know, the guy who penned The Dark Knight himself. Come on, man. Talking about greatness, man. I grew up with that shit. You know how inspiring shit like that is to hear when you're a young artist? And you're like, one day, it's gonna happen, man. I'm gonna do it. I can't fucking wait. It's gonna be great. You know, watching the behind the scenes of that movie, and I've watched it many times just because I really enjoy that movie. You hear about how accurate Robert Rodriguez wanted to be to the original source. Frank Miller got to play the rapist priest, or, you know, maybe it was fucking like hookers or some shit, I forget, but he played a piece of shit priest on there, and Mickey Rourke blew his fucking head off, something like that. And you know, powerful movie, man. A great movie. It's a great movie. It's classic. It's a classic. It's a classic all day, every day. You learn how close he wanted to be to the source material, to the point where he was breaking down panels and then trying to create shots out of them. That's when I learned it was through him when you start peeking into the director's process. And I was just watching it just because I wanted to learn and be entertained. I wasn't trying to like steal his swag and write notes and do all that. Like, it wasn't even all that for me. It was like pure enjoyment, but I was taking it in nonetheless. And Even like in my head, I'd be thinking like, yo, how do you shoot the tall panels? Cause all the short panels, all the vertical panels, yeah, they match the vertical set of a screen of a movie. But then you have oh wait, did I say vertical? Horizontal. Then you have the vertical panels that are up and down. How do you shoot those? And then he treated those as pan shots where he would move the camera up the shot or down. And it's like, fuck. Being a kid, teenager or whatever I was at that time, whatever year it was, you're like, damn, this motherfucker's smart. Like, I can't wait. I can't wait. You got the Spawn movies, you got the Batman movies. You know, 300 movie came out, and then you learn after that, like, oh, that was based off a cartoon too. Oh, that was Frank Miller too. Like, it's all there. Like the brain and the thoughts and everything is there. And it's like one day I'm gonna learn this shit, and then I'm gonna get the opportunity, and I'm not gonna squander it. Nah, no, you won't. And but yeah, that was the movie that made people think like, hey, let's check out these comics. We had the Punisher movies. The main one, you know, which one I'm talking about, the one with the Russian dude, the Russian fight scene, that epic ass shit. Either way, well, what I'm getting at is people started making movies about comic books. Like it became a thing. Like it was like it was getting its moment. This is before it had its moment. This is before 2008 Dark Knight. I believe it was 2008. 2008 uh Iron Man 1. Robert Downey Jr. raising his arms like the fucking Night King and watching the mountains behind him get blown up by rockets. This is before Tony Stark made this with a box of scraps. Oh, sorry, sir, I'm not Tony Stark. Like, that was 2008, I believe. At least it's around there. You know what I mean? Don't hold me to it. I graduated college in 2010. I grew up with this shit. I see it. I see it growing. I still remember Disney when some Disney storyboard artist came by to give a speech one morning while at the school, at the college. He had brought with him some storyboards that he was working on Brave. Brave hadn't come out yet. It probably wouldn't come out for another couple of years at that point. Redheaded archer girl, bear, didn't know what was happening. He was showing us storyboards. And I remember during that presentation, I was sitting next to this smoke show girl. And she was there for studying fashion. She didn't even belong there. But because it was a Disney guy, she wanted to be there. And I'm sitting next to her, and we're talking. And here I am talking to this fashion girl. Smoke show. Drives a Mercedes. She bad. She dressed. I looked like shit. I wore basketball shorts. I didn't have any fucking money. I didn't have any food. You know what I'm saying? I got this bad girl talking to me. And we're talking whatever. And then what do we start talking about? What does the conversation land on that it actually becomes a conversation? Fucking Iron Man. Because that movie was out and it was hot and it was You know, one of the best things that ever happened. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget what Iron Man meant to people, not just us nerds, animators, comic book readers, none of that. I'll never forget the moment a fucking baddie was like, I like Iron Man. With an accent and shit. Like, I was like, God damn, I'm in love. And I'll never forget that. That was the first movie. That was the first movie. That was before Ed Norton's Hulk. Oh, Nardachi, what's up? Hey, what's up, man? What's up, Nardachi, man? Thanks for the raid. I'm just now seeing it. Man, y'all caught me in the middle of the longest rant. I'm sitting here trying to draw this commission, and I was trying to tell a story about leading up to this commission, and then it's a story that just tracks back all the way back to like the late 90s and shit. But I'm at like 2008. Yeah, thanks for the raid, man. I think this is my first raid too, man. I really appreciate it. What's up, y'all? G Mr. Drew, I draw shit, and I'm talking about this commission because it's my first Patreon commission, and you know, just talking about how much it means to me. But it's well, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So yeah, I'll never forget what Iron Man did, and now I'll never forget what Marvel has done. You know, and what they're continuing to do. It's insane. They're evolving everything. And again, it's comics and it's movies, and in my head I'm sitting there thinking about all the comics and all the movies. Here we go. Kind of getting lost in the sauce here. So, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna keep that in there just because I like how it looked. It doesn't make any sense, but I'll make that shit make sense. Yeah, man, you see how all that stuff works out, what they've been able to do. It's all great, it's all amazing, and that thought of revisiting Sin City and revisiting Robert Rodriguez talking about how he wanted to be panel accurate, and then you watch movies like Civil War and you get that shot that people can't stop talking about, how it matches the cover of Iron Man and Cap, you know, shooting the beam and blocking it with the shield, and they clash, and oh my God, it looks like the cover. They did it. They did it. You know, the Avengers movie, the first one where when they're doing the team up battles, and oh, he shot the repulsor ray, he reflected it. Like you do all that shit, and then you're like, oh yeah, they're shouting out to the comics. Of course of course, right? And you know, the idea, the thought of, you know, they're using comic books as storyboard panels keeps popping up in my head. Oh shit, here we go. That's what that was. Don't worry, I'll get to that one. And then I'll do this. Cause yeah, that's gonna be one thing. And let me shade it in proper. Look at me being sloppy. And it's like, yo, they're using comic book panels as storyboards. And I keep playing that over in my head. Comic book panels as storyboards. Comic book panels as storyboards. You know, earlier I was talking about anime. The animes that I grew up with, late 90s. You know, to this day, they still haven't been able to do some of the animes in live action just because, man, can't nobody touch it. That's how sick anime is. You know? But it's like, yeah, they're using. And then the more I get into anime, the more I learn about manga. But because I wasn't really big into reading and I wasn't, I love comic books, I love the art, but I wasn't really into reading them. I didn't find my first comic book comic book store until I was 16. I had already found a tattoo shop by the time I was 14 and fell in love with that place fell in love with tattoos because of all the art on the walls. 2 years later, I stumbled into a comic book shop for the first time in my life. I knew about comics. I watched a Batman animated series, but I never read comics. And I walk into my first comic book shop, 16 years old, and I get the books that I'm attracted to at that time. Spawn, because I love the Spawn movie. Obviously it's aged or whatever, but I love that shit growing up. It's nostalgic as hell. That cape is the baddest cape in the world. Still the baddest cape. Superman cape ain't got shit on Spawn cape. Batman's cape, that CGI shit when he's riding on top of the Harley Joker car, and you see them shooting behind the scenes, he ain't got no cape on. You're like, nah, they CG'd that in. And it was like, that's all they did with it. Spawn had all that. Like, and 15, 20 years ago, Spawn had all that. Like, so I got the Spawn comic book. I didn't know Greg Capullo. I think the first issue I got was like issue 118 or 138 or something like that. It was like just past 100, just to let you know where I was at and what book would have been on the rack and what would have been drawn at that time. But yeah, Greg Capullo was working on there. That was a lucky find. Finding Spawn was like the baddest. It was the luckiest thing I ever did. And then I also, because I was a big Street Fighter fan, I picked up the Street Fighter comic book, the Udon stuff. I learned about Chamba, Joe Vereen, Joe Ing. I don't know how you say his last name. It's NG. I don't know how you pronounce NG. Uh, all the Udon artists. Joe Vrines, Dax Gordon, you know, and at this point I'm joining DeviantArt, and then I'm following those guys on DeviantArt, and it's like, holy shit, now I'm getting into this comic book world. I learned who Greg Capullo is, learn about Todd McFarlane, then I learn about all this stuff, man. And the movies come out and I'm thinking they're using comic book panels as storyboards. Me wanting to be a storyboard artist, and now me being a comic book enthusiast, and me being into anime, and now I'm learning what manga is and where these animes come from. Like, you think when I was a kid that I knew anything about Akira Toriyama? Like, hell no. I knew Goku, I knew Vegeta. I knew Krillin in the Destructo discs. I knew Frieza needed to go down. Like, I was there when Goku said Allied did good for the first time. It was like, what? Say words, huh? And then I learned about mangas. I'm not gonna read them. I do now, but back then I wasn't gonna read them. But it was interesting. It was interesting to learn about the creator of Dragon Ball. It was interesting. One Piece was just starting out. Well, I mean, I guess by the late 2000s it had been started out, but in the late 90s it was just starting out. But you know what I mean? You learn like, oh, the One Piece guy was somehow associated with the Dragon Ball guy. Like I remember even thinking like that it was a Dragon Ball guy who created One Piece. But then you learn like, oh no, the One Piece guy worked on Dragon Ball, but then he went on to go do his own thing, something like that. I might have that wrong. But either way, it's something that I heard. You know, you hear a bunch of things in his life. And again, it's like, oh, so manga artists, they draw comics and then they animate them. And then these animations are similar to like movies, animated movies. And you're watching these Marvel movies and you're like, oh, all this stuff is you start connecting dots that had never been connected at that point. Meanwhile, I'm growing up, you know, I graduated high school at 17. I entered college at 17. The Art Institute had people like poaching students early on, getting them to sign contracts to, you know, guarantee them to get into college right away. They guarantee, you know, they had I'll never forget this. They had a 96% hiring after graduation, that you're going to get hired in your field. So I was like, oh wait, so if I go in for animation, you know, my bachelor's in animation, I have a 96% to get a job in animation industry. Oh yeah, sign me up. I'm 16 years old. Sign me up. So I enter, you know, I entered college, 17 years old, 2006, and I'm watching these movies, and I'm learning about manga, and I'm reading comics, and I'm watching, you know, I'm seeing the culture grow as far as like girls who you would never guess would be into Marvel, getting into Marvel. It's like, okay, oh shit, this is about to be lit. It ain't nothing but a party up in here. And oh, there we go. That's what I need to do right here. There we go. Sorry, getting lost again. Hard to keep a thought and ramble and draw something, draw a commission without fumbling it. I'm watching all this happen. I was like, okay, 96% chance I'm gonna get a job, baby. Going in, you know, going to class, doing everything I can, you know, broke as a joke, getting working 3 jobs, full-time school, you know, I got no money, no food. You know, life is life, man. It is what it is. But after I graduate, I'm gonna get a job. I'm gonna work for Disney. I'm gonna work for Pixar. I'm gonna work for Warner Brothers. I'm gonna, you know, if I can't, you know, work for them, I'll work in the comic book industry. Maybe I could do something there. You know, I like drawing. And if that fails, you know, at least I know some skills that could translate over to video games. You know, I'll get a job with Sony or something. Who knows, man? Sky's the limit. 96% chance I'm gonna get a job. Shit. And I busted my ass, and I was hustling, and I was working. Like, you know, I wasn't just like sitting on my ass. Nah. Not you. Not me. So this all started with me talking about, well, it didn't start there, but in the beginning I was also talking about like my jobs and you know, work that I've had, and the whole, you know, this being my first, let me drink some water. This being my first Patreon character commission. You know, super happy about it. I don't know if you guys know who this is yet. How's it look on the screen? But okay. All right. I need to check out this guy now. You know what? Maybe I can get his foot in there. Fuck it, right? Because if I gotta draw the head like that, yeah, I'll just draw the head like that. I can get at least like his sandals in there. I like these type of Akuma sandals too much to not try to include them. There you go, got that fat toe. There we go. Okay. Man, where was I? Oh yeah, so I'm recognizing a pattern is all I'm saying. And as I'm recognizing this pattern, I'm thinking, I'm preparing myself to get an entry position in the industry, because that's the way life works, right? You go to school, you study, you learn some shit. You know, hopefully you learn your craft. That way you prepare yourself to spend, you know, more or less the rest of your life working, um, working at a place, working a position that you can learn and grow and spend the rest of your life honing your craft and and always getting better and being happy, and you know what I mean? I've worked my entire life. I mean, I was cutting lawns before I was even taller than the lawnmower that I was cutting the lawn with. You know what I mean? I got my first job at Dunkin' Donuts at 15. You know, as soon as I can get a job, I walked up in that motherfucker like, yo, I need a job. I've been working my entire life because I needed to. Never had a money problem. Got an income problem. Shout out to earlier part of the monologue I'm doing here. And yeah, it just didn't work out. Never got the opportunity, never got callbacks, never, you know what I mean? I was lucky to even receive like no thank yous, you know what I mean? Usually you just like shoot a resume out, or you know, shoot your demo reel out to people, and you just never hear back from it. You know, you try to make connections, and then you don't know how to like really talk to a stranger who you kind of just want to beg for a job for an opportunity, I should say. But obviously you don't want to come off that way. They're gonna be like, yo, get this guy out of here. So then you gotta try to be cool while talking to a stranger. And then you gotta wonder, like, am I being too cool? Like, is this person gonna be like, get this motherfucker think he cool? Get him out of here. So, there we go. Yeah, the pants is looking mad whack. It's okay. There we go. Anyways, I'm recognizing patterns, getting ready to graduate. I'm trying to get into the industry. I'm thinking like, okay, you know, I'm gonna get cracking. I can't fucking wait. Then the opportunities never come, the jobs never come, and then you have to find work. and you work, but you never stop. You never stop uh, going for your goal, going for the dream. You know, maybe I was dreaming too small to think like, oh, to get an entry position and to learn the industry and to do things the way that you think that they ought to be done. Like start little and then grow big. Maybe I was wrong for thinking that that was what I needed to do. Maybe I should have just came straight out of college, 21 years old, bachelor's degree. Like, yo, let me direct the next Star Wars. Like, maybe I would have got the job that way. I don't know. But either way. Um, yeah, let that go on for 10 years. Fast forward 10 years, completely unhappy, dissatisfied. The greatest moments of your life are the ones spent at conventions and, where you can meet and parlay with people who are all into the same shit that you're into. It's a beautiful thing. And, hope that you run into a professional there. Maybe you can show them some of your work and maybe get a job that way. And that didn't work out either. But they're still fun nonetheless. And then but you know that that's what you want to do. You know it. You know it because it's fun and it's still work. And do character commissions. I'm getting paid, but people are getting something out of it. It's a whole business thing. You know what I mean? It's business, but it's also fun. Have the responsibility to deliver something to somebody, and then just see them happy that they got it. And it's like, what? Like it's so crazy. I've been drawing pictures for people my entire life, man. I was drawing for kids' lunch money in second grade. As soon as I learned I could draw, I was drawing Looney Tunes. What you want? You want Taz? You want Tweety? You know how many people wanted Tweety? You know what I mean? Space Jam had came out. You know how many people wanted them little aliens shooting that big ass little laser gun? I still have a memory of drawing that picture. Um, but yeah, it never gets old. Had to go run, do something right when I rated. But hey, yeah, what's up, Nardachi? Wish your job stuff was more straightforward. Like I'm here to get paid for providing a service. Why do I have to act like I care about the company itself? God, I miss conventions. Yeah, me too, man. You and me both. They'll be back, man. It'll be a thing. It'll be a thing again. But yeah, doing these working conventions, doing commissions. I mean, having people just come up to you to draw characters you never heard of before, or even have someone who created their own character be like, hey, I got this character here, but you got this crazy ass style, so how about like you draw my character in your style, please? It's like, what? Word? Yeah, I'll do that gladly. And you draw their picture and then like keep in contact with that person. And like, I still got this picture, man. I fucking love this shit. It's like, yo, like you realize what it is that you want to do. Like, I don't think there's any like dispute or debate about that. But all the while, you know, don't have a money problem. You got an income problem. And here I am with an income problem, not even working in the field that I want to work in. Not even working on jobs that I want to work on. Here I am making compromises to my dream to pay the bills, to live, to take care of the family if need be, take care of myself, shit, you know? I've been through some rough times, man. And here I am just making compromises to work on some people's OCs. Every year I join Art Fight. What's Art Fight? Capitalism is hell. Capitalism. I mean, it makes the world go round. You want to know what capitalism is? It's a secret. It's a secret until you learn about it, and most of us don't learn about it until it's way too late. That's all capitalism is. You know, I wish I had learned about it a lot sooner. You know, my dad had enough sense to tell me that I had a income problem and not a money problem, but he never had the sense to tell me how to reverse it. While, you know, and obviously since I was drawing since second grade, like he clearly knew, like, oh yeah, this kid wants to draw for a living. And he didn't have like the sense to tell me, like, this is what capitalism is, this is how it works, and this is how you can do it as an artist. You know, I get my art talent from my dad. You know, he was he just never pursued it. You know, he did the job and he didn't do the art thing, is all I'm saying. Okay, yeah, here we go. I was kind of forgetting about his hair for a second. Well, yeah. So anyways, I'm seeing all these patterns, and, 10 years goes by working, doing graphic design, and, self-taught graphic designer, to the point where I train people, and I teach I teach actual people who wanted to do graphic design as a living how to do graphic design professionally. It's insane. It's like, how did I end up there? That's not what I wanted. And yeah, man, it's I had to make a decision. I listen to Joe Rogan podcast, and he has this thing. Art Fight is an online event where a bunch of people draw each other's OCs. You join one of the two big teams, and they attack each other by drawing characters from the other team. It's just a big friendly art gifting thing. Oh, sweet. Dude, that sounds dope. I never heard of that. Art Fight. There's so many art things that I don't know about. Like, I see people who do the draw this character, or draw this one character, but in like 10 different anime styles. So they'll take like Levi from Attack on Titan, draw him in regular Attack on Titan mode, but then they're like, here's the Hero Academia, the Dragon Ball Z version, the One Punch Man version, the da 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 version, the this and the that, the Bleach and the others, and all that other stuff. And those are dope. It's very interesting to see those sort of things. But yeah, drawing other people's OCs, and to see your OC and someone else's style. Well, hell, man, I guess people could do that with mine. I mean, I'm revealing all sorts of concept art about my characters on my whatchamacallits, on my IG now, and all that stuff. I was scared to share that stuff years ago, and I think rightfully so. I think this was the time to start showing it, now that I'm actually rendering out the concepts and things like that, and actually demonstrating them, and knowing a little, learning a couple things about publishing is like, okay, you know what, I guess I can share it. Style challenges are really fun. Yeah. I don't know if I'll ever do it, honestly. Honestly, I think I'm a little too scared, man. I fall into rabbit holes, and that sounds like 10 rabbit holes to fall into of being like, okay, what makes Bleach style Bleach? What makes Naruto style Naruto? What makes Dragon Ball Z Dragon Ball Z? You know what I mean? And then I would have I would take it so seriously as to like study it hardcore just to draw one character. I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever get around to doing that one. Okay. That's right, I gotta draw this guy. Okay, so he does have that, and he does have those, and he is doing that. Oh, that's what's up, man. Okay, so I wasn't crazy for doing it like this then. There we go. This is perfect. You know, I wasn't sure about this framing when I started drawing this, and I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm gonna have to make it work. And yeah, get that in there like that, and then get nice. Starts July 1st every year, and then the entire website crashes for like get going right away. So join if you want. So is it just like artfight.com or something? Like I have a hard time remembering October. Last year, 2020, I completely missed October. I think it was because I was in the middle of trying to like get my life in order and save money and do all that stuff in order to quit my job to be in the position that I'm in right now. That's what I was doing in October for sure. Artfight.net. Yeah, I'll write that down. I wish I was in my sketchbook right now. I'll write it down later. Artfight.net. Sweet. I'll check it out. I'll just check it out just to have fun. Maybe I'll do some characters on, if I find something dope. Okay, how do I want to do this? But yeah, maybe I'll do some just portraits that way when I'm doing my little exercises in the morning. Yeah, that's neat. Oh, sweet. But yeah, so like October had just passed by me, and then I was like, wait a second. I was like, what happened to Inktober? And it was like November. And I said, wait, what? like, like I had just missed everything. Here we go. There we go. best interpretation of their dorky teenage OCs. Oh, that's funny. You know, it was funny. I did a commission years ago. Somebody I met at a convention, and you know, this guy he always hires me from time to time, and he gives me some of the best jobs because he has a daughter that he wants all these commissions for, and his daughter will be into all sorts of like young girl stuff, and I did you could catch it on my website. I think it's on either I think it's on my website somewhere. And I drew the Monster High girls. The Monster High, I guess is a cartoon or something, movies. Either way, it's like some young girl movies and it's like teeny bopper stuff or whatever it is. And I went ham and I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna draw these. I'm gonna draw these like how I draw these. I did not make them cartoony at all, but they look dope. And he loved it, and she loved them. You know, I met them at a free comic book day event and never looked back, man. So yeah, that I can see how stuff like that is super fun. Mermaids in May. Mermaids. I'm guessing that has something to do with mermaids. So in the month of May, you just draw a bunch of mermaids or something? Kind of like Inktober. You just draw a bunch of ink drawings all month. Oh yeah. So he has. Are those supposed to be? Ah, that's what's happening. Yeah, you know what? I think I might just leave that down here. There we go. Oh, you know what? That was the wrong angle. There we go. Yeah, so ultimately, like, oh, thank you, they're always so happy. Yeah, mermaids for May. Okay. There are a lot of month-specific art challenges people are coming up with. Makes sense, man. A lot of people imagining a whole lot of things, so stuff's always gonna pop up. Certainly never run out of ideas. That's for sure. There we go. Yeah. Monster May, Mermaid, Junebug. Oh wow. Hue-vember? So you just draw with colors or something? Or like monochromatic or something? 51s for October. February list. Pinups for Valentine's. That's dope. See, now that's like one I can get down with, man. I love drawing pinups. Well, I guess everybody loves drawing pinups. Fuck yeah. This is coming together nice. It's about color challenges, like using random palette generators, or using a list of color combos. That's super interesting. Hell yeah, those things, they definitely help people. Definitely help artists. I remember when I was doing challenges all the time, it was always interesting. I used to be a part of this group, back when I was reading the Street Fighter comic books that I was talking about, and getting involved with the Udon artists, Joe Vereen and Dax Gordine. They're a couple of Canadian artists, and they started this Facebook page. It's still there, but it's kind of been deactivated for years. Is called Joji TV. I designed the logo for them actually back then because I was doing graphic design. I was like, yo, I do logos. Like, check this out. So you can find the Joji TV with the looking like G.I. Joe logo, but it says Joji.tv or something like that. And yeah, man, they had a thing every month. And I was winning them often, man. They had these awesome ideas and things that I never knew about. And I was like, hey, draw this, draw that, draw these toys you never heard of, draw these characters looking like that. Gem and holograms before I think they remade that cartoon. Or maybe it was like before the movie came out and nobody had ever heard, no one knew about the gem and holograms. And then next thing you know, like it was coming out as a movie and it was like, oh, so this is what gem and holograms is. And I remember drawing them, not knowing who they were. Yeah, I remember doing all sorts of those things. Should make a tuber list where you draw potatoes or something, because why not? Hell yeah. October, wouldn't it be like Octator or something like that? Yeah, so what, we coming up on 2 hours? It's not bad. This isn't bad for 2 hours. But now that I'm thinking about it, I haven't taken I wonder if I should even be taking a picture of this at all. Sure, why not? I forgot to take a picture when I was just with the red pencils. But screw it. Oh, Octator. Hell yeah. Dude, you could do a bunch with coffee beans because I'm always focusing on characters and things like that. Like, characters always come to mind. And I did a whole, bunch of characters that were made from coffee beans. And it was because I listened to a bunch of podcasts, and one of them, one of the sponsors to podcasts. Oh, this came out sideways. God damn it. I hate when that happens. And there was this coffee company coming out called Bulletproof Coffee, And because I'm always trying to shoot my shot, and I'm always trying to get jobs, and I'm always trying to, try to hook up with companies and people that I like. I did some I did some work, or I designed it because the company is called Bulletproof Coffee. I made a bunch of coffee beans like military artillery people. It's on my website somewhere. This would have been years ago. There we go. Oh, I got a decent picture. But yeah, man. So I could imagine a bunch of like potato type characters. Some of them got spores and mold growing on them the older they get. You could peel them, turn them into French fries or something. I have no idea. A little baby potatoes and the big ones, and you got sweet potatoes. You can give them all sorts of characteristics and things like that, man. Alright. What's the frog guy look like again? There we go. There you go, man. Hell yeah. Alright, so that's what that eye looks like. Okay, I see. Yeah, frogs have those weird, wonky pupils. Can't just give them a regular eye. There we go. There we go. So yeah, ultimately everything that I'm doing now with this all this Patreon and wanting to do that, the way I always explain it is I just want to recreate the convention experience, at least my experience with working in Artist Alley and just opening it up to the world, doing it digitally, so that way I can have those same experiences of you know anybody can hit me up if they have like characters they want to see me draw, their favorite anime characters, or just portraits of whoever. So that's why I started the Patreon, and then my auntie's like, yo, why don't you do a Fiverr? So I was like, oh yeah. So I looked into Fiverr, opened that up, and just made it real simple. So I was like, I just started setting all this stuff up. And yeah, I just took the leap, man. I saved up some money to try to hold myself over while I set all this stuff up. She said, fuck it. Hell yeah, that's the spirit, man. I just said fuck it. And was like, you know what? I know I could do it. I've done it. I know it makes me happy. and now I just need to get the people, you know, get the people behind me, and get enough people to believe in me and enjoy the same things that I enjoy, and want to see the same things that I want to see. And yeah, that's why. Yeah, me too. Yeah, so far so good, man. I feel like I'm in the green. It's a ton of work to uh, to market yourself, and uh, then try to promote yourself, and then constantly be working on stuff, but constantly be um, like trying to find the work. So yeah, super excited to have this first get this first commission going. I was talking to the guy, and he was kind of made me second guess my patron tiers as far as like how I offer the offerings of what it is, because he picked the one tier, and he would have normally got two character commissions, one 4x6, one 5x7. They both would have been like character headshots, which is what I've been kind of promoting, because it was like, if you order, you get a character commission, most of the time it's just like a headshot. And then, usually like half bodies, full bodies, all that stuff kind of, uh, you want a bigger size to work with in order to be able to do like a decent job and get like, some decent, um, detail in the design, and just make it look good and all that stuff just in general. And, so yeah, he would have got a 4x6 and a 5x7, but he was like, nah, I really only want one character. And I guess the way that I decided on the charge, or decided on how, what's going to be fair for the character commission for the patron level tier, was the amount of square inches of the size of the artwork. Some artists, they charge by the size of the paper that they're working on. Like, this is a 9x12 paper, but the picture in it isn't going to go all the way to the edges. Um, so yeah, the way I decided on that stuff was all just by square inches. So I just tallied up the square inches of 4x6, 5x7, came to a number, and I was like, okay, well, what size picture can I draw to make it one size? And this is it. So this is like a, what is it, 6x9.5 or 6.5x9, something like that. And it's like an equal amount of square inches that he would have got with a 4x6 and a 5x7 combined. But now it's just the one character, and it's also big enough to fit like a full character portrait. Like, this is all decent. I don't get to do super details, but it'll at least make a nice character portrait. And I was like, you know what? If like maybe I need to change the offer to the like square inches, but I don't think people kind of really understand that stuff. I don't think they're like coming here and then they're going to be counting, well, what do I get? What do I get? So it might just be easier for me to keep it as it is. People understand 4x6, 5x7, 20x30, 11x17. At least I hope they do. Anytime I'm at conventions, I just have a stack of 4x6s sitting right next to me, and 11x17s sitting right next to me. And I'm like, what do you want? And I just work on it right then and there. There's a whole lot more, what's the word I'm looking for? whole lot more options. And then I detail the options, and I don't know if it's TMI. I don't know if people are, just get dizzy if they look at that stuff. So yeah, I was happy I was able to like talk to this guy and kind of figure it out. I think it's cool. I don't mind making adjustments. I'm super flexible, as long as it's all fair for everybody. But yeah, everything's been going good. Having set sizes or prices can definitely help people decide easier. Good. Yeah, because I never had to do it before. I only worked at 4x6 and 11x17. And then obviously, depending on whichever one you chose was going to be what you got. Like 4x6s would kind of just be character portraits, while 11x17 would be like a whole, like, like a full body. But yeah, you start putting yourself out there, and then the work is like coming in slow, and it's like, man, I'd really like people to just get character commissions. That's all I really want to do. And oh yeah, didn't I need to draw something over here? What are those? Oh yeah, I guess I can still draw that. There we go. That'll work for that. So yeah, it just meant a lot to me. I was super excited after we figured out what I was going to be drawing. I was like, okay, bet. And now to be here doing it, it's like, man, this is what it feels like. Oh yeah, the smoke's covering up his foot. Oh well. There we go. Alright. I guess I really didn't need all those that much. Maybe I do. Yeah, do I want to do... Oh, that's what I want to do then. Yeah. So yeah, now I just need to do what I'm doing now and multiply it by 1,000. Not even 1,000, honestly, if I'm being specific. But you know what I mean. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, Nardachi. I was, when I was just starting off this stream, I was just like in my own head thinking about things, and went down that whole long monologue of, you know, really cruddy life story. And then I looked down and it was like, oh shit, my first raid. I really appreciate that. I watch I watch a streamer, Sphere Hunter. You know, she's like a gamer girl. She has a YouTube channel. She talks about like Devil May Cry and Resident Evil a whole lot. She does like a lot of like research essays on those things. And she has a Twitch channel. I watch her all the time. And then she always ends her streams by doing a rating somebody. So I was just like, oh, Razor, super dope, man, super cool. So the fact that you did that, I was just like, oh, snap. Sometimes you just gotta monologue at yourself while drawing. Yeah. Yeah, I'd just be thinking like I could just sit here and draw and be quiet, but I backlog these videos and I upload them on YouTube. And, you know, honestly, I don't know. I guess if people don't want to hear me talk, they could always just mute the video. I was trying to do so much more with these videos when I started, and then I realized I couldn't because, you know, my computer just doesn't have enough RAM to kind of handle any sort of video editing. It can't even handle uploading the videos to the software. I have the software programs. It just, my computer is just like, anytime I try to handle like megabyte, gigabyte videos. So when I upload these things onto YouTube, the plan was to kind of turn them into fast tracks and then just like kind of speed up and then slow down towards the end. So that way, you know, people can really watch it, but not really have to sit through a couple hours. Like this one, I'm going on 2 hours now. I try to rave when I can, although I don't usually have many people to bring. Hey, are you kidding me? That was the most people I've probably ever had on this. Those are the most people I ever had on this stream. You caught me off guard, man. I was like, whoa, wait, what happened? I lost myself for a second. So I was like, oh crap, here all these new people know nothing about me, and I'm crying about you know, never getting that opportunity to work, you know, with a company that, you know, I could be happy with, you know, just work in the animation industry. You know, when I before I started this stream, I had YouTube playing in the background. I was watching this guy Ethan Becker, and he's a guy who works in the animation industry, and he puts out some pretty entertaining videos. He kind of like, you know, I don't know how best to play it, but basically he's always like joking around and having fun, in a way that is like kind of trolly, but then you realize, oh no, he's not trolling at all. He's just having fun here. And he knows how to do it. He knows how to balance the being a troll and being a decent guy while entertaining all at the same time. But either way. Nah. Don't be sorry, man. That was perfect. Again, you know, I don't mean to when I start talking and I'm rambling and I'm monologuing, it's all just off the top of the head. I don't like start these things and say, okay, I'm gonna talk about this and this and that. And I'm gonna hit these points and it's gonna be great. I just start talking, and then in the back of my head, I'm like, shut up, don't talk. But yeah, but you know, this is meant to be something of a podcast, and you know, I always wanted to be a part of a podcast because I always wanted to sit there and talk, but I wanted to do it like with people. And I've had friends who wanted to start a podcast, and he's a guy, he's a sound guy. He knows he made beats and things like that, so he has like the soundboards. He knows how to handle all the audio stuff, things like that. And he talked to me for like 2 years. Oh yeah, gonna start this podcast. Start this podcast. Are you down? Are you down? 2 years. I'm like, yes, I'm down. Yes, let's do it. Yes, I'm ready. I was like, let's just go to your place and let's just do it now. Like, fuck it. Let's just do it, man. We can't just sit here and contemplate it for 2 years. You got to do it. You got to do the damn thing, man. So yeah, really, I listened to so many podcasts, and then having that conversation for 2 years, I was just like, yeah, I really need to. I really need to do something. I'm gonna do it myself, and I know nothing about it. And I don't know how to do it. Fortunately, I found Twitch, and I was like, oh, here's an avenue. Not only can I draw, but I can talk about things. And I thought it'd be dope. Like I thought I'd be actually talking about things that were actually kind of cool. But yeah, I guess it doesn't work that way. Hit and miss and all that stuff. Where am I at with these? Where am I at with these? Okay. So yeah, if I do this like that, and then do that like that, so that way I can say the light is there, and then I can do that. There we go. Where it's like people talking while drawing, although I realize that's basically just drawfee. I just heard about drawfee recently for some reason. I don't know if they were in the news or if there was something going on. But I just heard about this draw free thing where it's like drawing and coffee. Maybe it was on like a AWN article or something. But I'm guessing it's just a bunch of people who get together and they draw and they talk about art, which is dope. I mean, yeah, that's a podcast. And, just because they're doing it doesn't mean 100 other artists can't do it, You just don't call it draw free or drawfee. Call it anything else. Call it the Andrew Glowczewski experience. Which, yeah, I ripped off of Joe Rogan, who ripped it off Jimi Hendrix. Which was the plan the whole time. I'm trying to infiltrate these people's minds by being like, oh, it's like Joe Rogan. What a clown. Trying to be like Joe Rogan. But yeah, I've tried listening to some art podcasts, and they just weren't. They either weren't consistent or just not compelling enough. Like, I'm a huge fan of the Udon Comics crew. I'm a huge fan of like Fu-Ray and Chamba. I love their artwork, and they started a podcast, and I'll be listening to it. But it's so far and few between, and I kind of just dipped in and out, and every now and then I'll remember it and I'll go check in to see, and I'll listen to it, and I'm like, oh man, the quality of it is still, years old. Where it's like, man, I'd hate to think if I do this for years and years on end that I don't have I don't make like improvements, whether it's the sound quality, video quality. Like I want to be able to do the picture-in-picture thing or the OBS where I can people can see me while I draw. That way they don't, they can see put a face to the name. They don't just see a random hand, random fingers. And they could actually be like, oh, this is the guy. Okay. Yeah, I hear him. I feel him. That's what's up. But yeah, I would hope to think that if I was doing something for years on end, that, just make it better and better and better. That's my goal at least. I'm starting off super low budget, super low rent, super low everything. I'm fortunate to have this much, I'm super grateful for it. And yeah, I don't want to do anything but get better. Do bigger and better things. More commissions, more bigger commissions, better cameras capturing it all. I watch Junji on YouTube as well. Super Annie is the YouTube channel. And yeah, he has a whole team with him, but he can afford that. He's like one of the best illustrators on the planet. But that's the type of stuff I'm talking about. Like, yeah, that's what you kind of want to do. So he has someone to handle all the talking points, or handle all the live stream watchers who ask questions and this, that, and the other. And then he has someone who handles the camera for him. That man just sits there and draws and then answers whatever questions the interpreter does for him. It's a beautiful setup, and it's like, yo, that's what I got to do. That's gonna be the thing. Sit there and just draw, work on commissions all day. And have a team of people. Like that's the next level. Like right now it's just trying to gather a following and be able to talk to people like you, which is super dope. And get all that going. But yeah, the next level would be like to hire people. There's people that I worked with, back when I was doing like graphic design and stuff, and they're like, yo, when they heard I was like stepping out and doing my own thing and starting a company and things like that, they're like, yo, let me know. Let me know when you can hire me. And I was like, it's gonna be a while. I'll definitely let you know. But it is gonna be a while. Gotta pay myself first. Gotta take care of my family first, and then, once things are good, I could do that then. Cause yeah, that'd be dope, man. If I could just sit here and draw. I know graphic designers now and have them kind of handle all the video editing stuff and the promotion material and all that other stuff, and give them dope work to work with. Yeah, exactly, man. That'd be the dream. Especially if your friends have skills that they can do. You know what I mean? Especially if they have something to bring to the table, and they could actually provide value and things like that. Because yeah, that would be the next step, is to stop making this a solo venture, and turn it into a thing where just always bigger and better. Just do everything bigger and better. Waves, pom poms. You can get there. So yeah, and that's something I don't think I talked about when I was talking about like working for crappy jobs and things like that earlier, or you know, I don't even really think I talked about working for crappy jobs. But I was kind of implying it. Um, is that it's not all bad, you know. I got to meet cool people and make friends with people, but they work in the graphic design industry. They're graphic designers. Like they're kind of cool and happy with what they're doing because that's what they set up to do. Me, on the other hand, that's not where I wanted to be. That's not what I wanted to do. I don't even know how I ended up there. Sometimes I get confused to even like be like, how did I get there? But yeah, got to meet them. And yeah, they would certainly be happier, to work with me and to help me out with stuff like this. It's just the second I could pay anyone to do anything, I better believe it. You know, take time away from doing. Oh, you know what? Let me check that out. Duh. I've been trying to think of what to do with the background, and I had an idea. Oh, I didn't save any of it. Mm, there we go. Oh shit! I almost forgot that. Look at me slacking. Slacking hardcore, man. Yeah, let me make sure that that lines up actually. Yeah. So yeah, man, you could definitely do it. Figure out what it is you want to do, you know, and then figure out how you could start a company doing stuff that way. Unless you have a friend who starts their own company, and then maybe you can help them out. But yeah, maybe it works out that way. But yeah, it'd be a beautiful thing, man. To have friends working together. I mean, it usually ends up getting ugly once you mix friends with business, but you can't think about those things. You know, there's got to be instances in life when friends got together, started a company, and got super successful out of it. It's funny, you know, it got me thinking about bands, and you just think about rock bands, and they usually fall apart. And it makes sense though, now that we have the history and we look back in the interviews and they talk about it, and we all kind of figure it out, like how and why it happened. And there's the best way I ever heard it put was, and I forget what band said this and what member of what band said this, but it was one of those classics like Van Halen or like uh, like Kiss or or you know just one of those old bands, Metallica. Uh, I don't know. In insert insert 80s hair band, and they talk about why did the band break up? Why did it end? You guys were so good. Da 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 da. And what the guy ended up saying was like ultimately, we were all different people, and money brings out the differences in those people. Not in a good way or a bad way. It just money brings out the differences in those people. When you get money, you become more you get to do more of what you want to do, and people become more of who they are when they get money because they have the opportunity to do it. And and he goes, we were all just different millionaires. He was like, yeah, we were successful, we made money, da 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 da, but we were all different people. We were all different millionaires, which is a crazy statement. I'd love to say that about me and my friends. Yeah, we're different millionaires now. Maybe it was Aerosmith. Who knows who said that? But either way, um, that once they got the money and they really didn't need to tour anymore, like some people aren't as hardworking as others. Where others were like, nah, I'm gonna sing on stage forever and ever, no matter how much money I make. And then other people are like, you know, when I joined this band 20 years ago or 10 years ago, I was just doing gigs because, playing drums was a lot better than stacking boxes or something, you know. And then we just happened to make it big, and now I'm a drummer, and I'm $1 million big, and yeah, I don't want to drum anymore. I don't need to. I got me a little something here. I got me, I got these slow checks rolling in every quarter. I'm good. I'm tapping out. Tap out. And it's not bad. You're not a bad person if that's what ends up happening. That isn't that the mission? Isn't that the goal? Is to be happy. So if somebody can be happy, if your friend can be happy, and that's what ends up happening, yeah, it is what it is. Does it suck that bands break up? Absolutely. But what are you gonna do? Enslave people? No, you have to. You have to do it. So, but yeah, that would be an instance. But I think that would be a victory. You know what I mean? Start a business, start a band, start a this, start a that, and work with your friends. Become successful. And yeah, when it ends, it ends. But at least you could say you did it. Not a lot of people can even say that they did that, you know? A lot of people don't take the leap, for instance. That's why I was hoping. I mean, I'm running, like I said, I did save a little bit of money. I do invest in myself like that, but it wasn't enough, and I knew it wasn't enough when I started. And I told myself, like, hey, best case scenario, you get it on and popping right away, and worst case scenario, you get one more job. And, that's going to be your last job because at least you started on this path, and you're not going to go back now. So after, having that talk with myself. And yeah, I'm definitely open to the idea of like, working with some other people, other artists, other things. It'd probably actually even help. Oh shit, that's right. I am fucking this up. It's been so long since I did one of these. Super prone to headaches and migraines. Well, drums was just the example. Yeah, I was just thinking like guitarist or drummer or anything like that. But yeah, that would be dope, man. Fuck yeah. And see now. Here we go, man. Okay. There we go. And that's gonna go like that. So if this is, what if it's going this way? There we go. There we go. But yeah, I'd call that a victory, man. So yeah, if you have an opportunity to work with your friends and you guys can come up and create something, you know, that I did that for a lot of my life. I kind of looked at the group of people that I was with, regardless of who they were, and I would think, you know, if we were Voltron, what would we create? What are your skills? What do you know, what are their skills? What do they do? Who are they? How would this work out? Would it work out? Um, you know, but I guess that's part of being an artist and being a dreamer. Because I definitely, nobody else I've ever known ever had thoughts like that. So, eh, there we go. So yeah, bring those around for sure. Yeah, do another one. Okay, yeah, so this will come around. And I'll just have one coming down like this. Oh yeah, that works out. Oh yeah. You know, it's funny, music was always on my mind. I told myself if I ever went blind and I couldn't draw anymore, like I'll just play music. Okay. There we go. Man, it's been a while since I did anything like this. Man, that sucks. When you say you get headaches and migraines, is it like as a condition? Like as a or just as like a drumming thing, if you were a drummer, because drums give you headache, or you just catch headaches on the regular. Yeah, that'd be a bummer. Okay, which one? There we go. So yeah, if I did this one like that. Yeah, now I feel bad if you gotta if you're running into headaches, and you gotta sit here and deal with me. Deal with me another one of my monologues. It's gotta be rough. There we go. Go. Oh, yeah, I didn't finish running this part out. Yeah, this picture's turned out pretty badass, man. You know, when you sit there and think about pictures, and you think about what you're gonna do for a commission, but then it actually comes down to like doing it. And it's like, man, I really hope all these ideas I have kind of come together. And then on top of that, it's like, man, I really hope I can render this out properly. How we looking? Still looking good. Anybody figure out who this is yet? I know nobody's guessed yet, but I'm just curious. How do these work again? Oh my god. It's been so long since I've done these things. They're always so complicated. There we go. And just stick to it. Oh, that's right. That's why I'm fucking up. This is what I was worried about. There we go. Alright. Damn, going on 3 hours? It's already 11 o'clock? Shit. I gotta call it quits on this one. I've been sitting here talking that long. I've been working 3 hours. I only got 2 pictures out of this one. Man, I know I'm slipping. Look at me focusing on my story more than I was focusing on the art. Oh well. Yeah, I guess that's gonna be it for this one then. Ah, is that how I did it? Okay. All right, man. Well, 3 hours. Uh, and yeah, super exciting, man. This is again 3 hours into my first sketch commission. Um, I don't know if I should spoil people with the answer. Time flies by, you're monologuing. Yeah. Um, but yeah, time just kind of crept up on me. I didn't know it was this late. So yeah, I'll definitely have to come back and work on this some more tomorrow. I'm gonna have to work on a couple other things, so we'll see. But yeah, now that I got this started, I definitely want to go and keep it going and get it done. But yeah, it's a Jiraiya from Naruto, by the way. So I kind of added a couple things to him, clothing wise, and the frog as well, or the frogs, I should say. I can't forget about the two. Stand on his shoulder, and then yeah, definitely when I get back, I'll finish up this background, and then finish rendering out this frog and the smoke here, and then it'll be off to like shading, inking. Um, yeah, I got some inks, some colored inks here, as well as watercolors, and I was hoping to be able to do this on this one, but to be honest, I am worried about the strength of this paper. So I'll try it out, and we'll see what happens. Maybe I could figure out a way to keep the paper straight while it dries, flatten it out somehow. That way it doesn't warp in between sessions. Yeah, exactly. But either way, not a bad start. Not bad for a first commission. I can't wait to add it. Add it to the collection of pieces. It's been such a long time. So, yeah, I'm super stoked. And yeah, thanks Nardachi for that, man. I know a lot of the people bounced, but I really appreciate it. And don't worry about the timing. Just drop them in anytime, man, if you ever feel like it. Um, I appreciate it more than you know. And I appreciate you stopping by and talking and getting me off the sad train that I was riding. And yeah, man. I'll be back. G Mr. Drew on all socials. Go follow, like, and subscribe. You know all that shit. The gmrdrew.art is my website. Go check that out. And if you're interested in getting commissions done by me, I'm on Fiverr or I'm on Patreon. And you can hit me up that way. And I could be working on your character, something similar to this. And yeah, man, love y'all. Good night.